Hello, good evening and welcome to Business here on Joy News Prime. With me, Beverly Broom. Straight to our very first story. And the Ghana Stock Exchange has indicated it is working hard to reduce the concentration risk on the capital market, a move that will reduce any losses as a result of an economic shock. According to its managing director, Abena Amoah, this is being done with the introduction of additional products on the market, such as a commercial paper market, which is awaiting approval from the Securities and Exchange Commission. Addressing market participants at the GSE Facts Behind Figures program, Mrs. Amoah said her outfit is committed to growing a sustainable capital market. Here's more in this report.
Societe Generale took the turn at the Ghana Stock Exchange Facts Behind Figures program. In her concluding remarks, Managing Director of the exchange, Abena Amoah, said diversifying the market is the way to go to minimize losses in times of economic shocks. She stressed that her outfit has been working with stakeholders to implement the commercial paper market.
The other product I want to talk about as we work around diversification is a market we've been working with a whole bunch of stakeholders to implement in Ghana, and that is our commercial paper market, with a very wide stakeholder group from fund managers to our central bank, to issuers, to the brokerage community, to the Bankers Association. We have studied a few models around the world, and we have developed a framework and rules for a commercial paper market, a formal commercial paper market. We have submitted this to the Securities and Exchange Commission, and we are waiting for the approval, and we will launch this product this year. Again, as we look to financing the real sector, we call on SGS's, thank you, my age comes through, Societe Generale and all other partners to look at this product as a viable financing tool for the real sector. We want to show competitive, we want to show speedy financing solutions that address the challenges of entrepreneurs in Ghana.
The head of banking supervision at the Bank of Ghana, Osei Gyesi, is warning savings and loans companies to take a critical look at rising cost of interest rates and non-performing loans in their books. He stated that the level of non-performance loans is becoming a huge challenge for savings and loans companies. Speaking at the launch of the 20th anniversary of Bayport Savings and Loans in Accra, Mr. Gyesi assured that the central bank is addressing the issue.
The Bank of Ghana commends Bayport for the growth trajectory as its total assets increased significantly and recorded a profit increase of 27.42 million cedis as at the end of December 2022. This is described as a remarkable growth in the 20-year journey of Bayport. According to the head of banking supervision at the central bank, Osei Gyesi, Bayport has contributed significantly to the financial inclusion drive of the country and must be commended. He, however, warns that concern of increasing non-performing loans and cost of credit could affect its asset quality.
I've observed some marginal increases in the NPL stock of Bayport, and Bayport could manage this to improve the asset quality of the institution. This will also enhance the profitability of the institution. So this is one area that Bayport would have to look at. Then also, Mr. Chairman, Bayport would have to diversify its funding sources to reduce the leverage and also, one, cut down interest costs. Otherwise, financial risk could crystallize. So these are the areas that we thought Bayport should be looking at to improve, yes, to make more profits for the shareholders, to improve customer confidence, increase profitability, so that they can learn more to grow the economy. So look at these areas for us, Mr. Chairman.
Managing Director of Bayport, Akwesi Abuaji, in the reaction hinted that the company will take strict steps to ensure its sustainability and comply with the directive from the Bank of Ghana.
With the The one thing about financial institutions is we are very regulated, and it's important that you take as much of the regulations into your business operations as possible. At Bayport, we uphold the highest levels of integrity, risk management into our operations and governance. So we take the regulators' advice very seriously in our operations, and that reflects not only in our performance but in our relationship with our various regulators.
The anniversary is under the theme celebrating 20 years of needs met, opportunities created, plans accomplished, hopes realized and dreams fulfilled.
Now, as part of measures to enhance Ghana's payment system, AZA Finance has announced that it will engage banks and fintechs in the country to provide safe and reliable platform to benefit the financial ecosystem. The move is also expected to link Ghanaian businesses with multinational companies. Speaking to Joy Business after engaging importers and exporters, the country director of AZA Finance, Nana Yao Owusu-Banahene, said Ghanaian businesses can only be globally competitive if there is a fast and reliable payment system.
Cost of transfer payment has become an essential part of cross-border trade for businesses. For many small businesses, the cost of transferring funds due to exchange rate volatilities has compounded their operations. Speaking to Joy Business after engaging importers and exporters, the country director of AZA Finance, Nana Yao Owusu-Banahene, said Ghanaian businesses can be globally competitive if there is a fast and reliable payment system.
So what we are trying to do is that we are connecting with PSPs and banks, not just in Ghana but the African continent, to be able to enable a seamless cross-border payments. And so that's what we are focusing on. So we want to create a seamless cross-border payment that takes away most of the high costs of making payments outside of the country. Yeah, so we are a B2B. So our goal is actually to work with licensed partners. So we don't actually face customers. We provide that technology infrastructure and operational infrastructure with compliance and regulatory regimes to enable these transactions to happen. So we stay behind and empower the fintechs and the banks. Because of our current operational infrastructure, we've been able to take away some elements of corresponding bank effects and also transactional charges. So this will enable local partners to be able to do these transactions at very low cost.
On this part, the Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association, Samson Asaki Awingobert, is optimistic AZA Finance will help Ghanaian businesses to leverage the opportunity provided by AZA Finance to expand their operations across the continent.
Well, I strongly believe that as the Executive Secretary for Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana, what I look for my people is when they intend to pay their suppliers at the speed and the agency and the infrastructure, the platforms that they will be able to use in the swift manner by paying their suppliers when they are procuring goods from them. And also not just paying the supplier, but also looking at a platform that will cut down costs, that will be very effective and efficiency. That will not take them more than 4 banks or 4 transactions. That that what that means, it comes with a cost.
Now, stakeholders in the trade and industry sector in the Volta region have expressed readiness to take advantage of the numerous opportunities of the African Continental Free Trade Area after they have appealed to the government to resolve challenges impeding the progress of the sector, which they believe would affect the effective implementation of the African Intra-Trade Initiative. The industry players mentioned this at the Volta Regional After Conference in Ho.
The African Continental Free Trade Area provides a single-window borderless market across the continent. It is aimed at promoting intra-trade and growing the economy of the continent. In a bid to ensure effective participation, the National AFTA Coordination Office embarked on a sensitization drive for industry players across the country. At the Volta Regional Edition, the National Coordinator of AFTA, Dr. Farid Kwesi Arthur, underscored the potential of the region.
To become one of the leading districts in terms of trade and other things in the country. You have all the resources. You have all the resources. You are very strategically positioned. You are on the border with the rest of our neighbors, close to Nigeria and other things as we had. So there is a huge amount of potential. Let's then turn that potential into something tangible, and we'll see the number of people who will be coming in.
Though participants lauded the initiative, they raised concerns about bad road networks among other challenges identified to impede the effective implementation of AFTA. Delaga Janku is the Volta and Eastern Regional Chair of the Association of Ghana Industries.
We are promoting our regional economy through various interventions, and one of the key interventions is the Volta Trade and Investment Fair. Our region has a deficiency in infrastructure. We are talking about transportation. We are talking about good road network, even just right from Ho to Aflao. You heard the participants lament. Unfortunately, to have an airport, so we need to operationalize the airport. If our regional economy grows, it means that the airport will be enhanced and it will work. We are talking about the railway, even though we are told that it will pass through Ho to Hohwe, maybe in the next 10 to 15 years time. We will get all those. So we have an advantage as a region. We have the water bodies.
The Volta Regional Minister, Dr. Archibald Lecha, said plans are underway to construct major road networks in the region.
Something is being done. We did the first drawings we presented, but we want to do the roadway. It's going to be reconstructed with an asphaltic base, and that is what has been presented. And we are waiting for approval from the minister and funding, and then it can start. Go to Denu. It's only 90 kilometers. We are doing everything possible to make sure that all the issues with the contractors are sorted out, so that the work can resume. And it's part of a lot of the portions have been done, but the to Gbipegbe is so bad that like Adakuru Road, the Chepe to Abuadi to I think going to join Beime or something. And these are projects that are important, and we do our best to make sure that they are addressed. And I believe that it will benefit us. And we're working with them towards the Volta Fair in November, December. So we're going to work together to bring people from all over Africa.
The 5th Regional AFTA Conference brought together players in small and medium-scale industries in the Volta region. They were lectured on the African Intra-Trade Initiative, its framework and action plan, and numerous opportunities for Ghanaian producers to export their products. Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News, Ho.
We do some more stories now, and Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has said that Ghana's bailout plan with the International Monetary Fund has brought about a dramatic change to the economy. According to the minister, although the decision to run the austerity policy was a difficult one, it is beginning to pay off, giving the evidence of the reduction in inflationary figures and the relative stability of the cedi to the dollar. Speaking to Joy News at the American Embassy in Accra to mark the country's independence anniversary, Ken Ofori-Atta said he remains hopeful that the Ghanaian economy will bounce back strong.
We have our own unique situation in terms of the economy. What do you see as the future? You know that Ghanaians have been asking that how is the future looking like for Ghana and Africa as a continent?
Yeah, I mean, I think first of all we need to acknowledge that this is just an unprecedented period in global affairs with regards to the economy and all the incidents that we have seen. But be that as it may, I mean, July 1st last year was a very different period than July 1st this year, and the media will recognize that it's been quite a dramatic change in where we are. During that period in which we did a double take to go to the fund, we got the SLA in record time, we got the fund approval in record time, we got 3 times our quota, which is unprecedented, 3 billion. We also were able to front load it so that we may get 1.2 billion this year, which is good. And then within 3 days of the approval also, it was disbursed for us. And then inflation has tapered down from 54 to where we are. I think the currency is a little bit more stable. Treasury bill rates have moved from 35 to maybe 20-something%. The domestic debt exchange program was very difficult for us as a country, but I think, you know, the need to do it is being proven. So you can see some stability, and we are grateful for that. There's a lot of work ahead, and really we need to remain faithful as Ghanaians to push ahead. There's going to be some sacrifices, but I think it's the direction to go. Okay.
Message as U.S. marks its 247th Independence Day. What message do you have about strengthening cooperation between Ghana and the U.S.?
I think really for me, you know, the U.S. exemplifies, you know, the issue of civil rights, dignity, and the rights of the people. And, you know, in the good times, also a country that has really led the flame, holding up the flame for democracy and freedom of the world. Difficult times these past few years, but I think we'll all recalibrate and continue to walk lock in step. They were very helpful to us during our approval from the IMF, and we thank them for their continued solidarity with Ghana.
What do you look forward to in the future, the coming years, the partnership between Ghana and the U.S.?
Yeah, I think there are a number of issues, especially in security, because I really see Ghana as a green space of democracy in West Africa. And I think enlightened self-interest should lead to us working closer together. I think the other area of cooperation which is important will be the issue of technology. How to join to make Ghana the technology hub for Africa on the back of the AFCFTA. And that's really exciting for me.
There's also a pledge of some more funding in areas of agriculture and other forms of partnership. Is Ghana looking forward to having these funds, and how crucial would they be in our economic recovery?
You know, I think with the IMF program, that certainly will lead to macro stability and austerity. But the main part of it that we should be really intentional about is the area of private sector involvement and transformation, because that's robust, that's sustainable, and I think that with DFC, which used to be OPEC, now removing the pause from Ghana is opening up the window for more private sector investment to come. And we intend to follow through on that and get a lot more U.S. investment into the country.
I was speaking to the UNDP Africa chief last week on the sidelines of the Afrexim Bank. She raised a concern about how some rating agencies are not being fair to African countries such as Ghana. Is it bothering to you as a policy maker, knowing how difficult it is for African countries to access the international market?
I think the issue of capital is a big problem, and I think generally there's been a lot of angst, you say, about the way in which rating agencies are performed and how they work in a way in which sometimes it pushes countries from liquidity to insolvency. So yes, there's a lot to be discussed, and I think even in the Paris meetings, there was a lot of talk about the global financial architecture, and therefore agents such as credit rating agencies, how they impact the way in which capital is blocked from countries such as ours. So that's a discussion that has to be continued to be pursued, so that access to capital at rates that are reasonable, not an alleged African premium, which costs us considerable amounts of money. So we look forward to challenging that and changing the way in which things are done.
Managing Director of Societe Generale PLC, Hakeem Uzani, has indicated that the bank is in good standing and would be able to withstand the impact of a second domestic debt exchange program. The bank recorded a marginal growth despite the impact of the domestic debt exchange program on the banking sector. According to Mr. Uzani, the bank would put in place certain measures to ensure its continuous growth.
increased its revenues in the year 2022 despite the general impact of the domestic debt exchange program on many banks. The bank also recorded a strong improvement in its cost-to-income ratio in the year under review. According to the managing director of the bank, Hosani Hakim, the bank will continue on its path to mitigate the impact of the second debt exchange program on its operations.
For the first DDP, as I said during the session, we had an exposure of 133 million Ghana cedis, and we have done the necessary in terms of determining the fair value and the provisioning for that. We don't have at this stage any further exposure linked to the second DDP initiative. So we don't expect any further impact on our activity for this year.
Mr. Hosani added that the depreciation of the cedi, however, negatively affected its clients and general microeconomic growth.
This negative impact, I was talking about it globally on our clients. It's not, what I mean is that we have observed that our clients have been resilient, even with the high increase of the interest rates, because when you borrow money, more the interest rates are high, more the weight, that you is important for you, and it's heavy for you. So, but we have seen a good level of resilience of our clients. The depreciation of the Ghana cedi also has hit many of our mainly corporate clients who have borrowed. So necessarily they had a negative impact on their business, and this is why it's also globally impacts at certain level the macroeconomic growth, etc. But all in all, once again, as a banker, what I would observe during the 2022 year is that regarding the difficulties and the level of unpredictability of the environment, we have seen a real resilience.
The bank reiterated its commitment to developing the right products and solutions for clients.
Now, stakeholders in the artificial intelligence sector are cautioning organizations and businesses to strictly adhere to the security guidelines associated with emerging tools in the industry to safeguard their operations. At a Data and Intelligence Forum, Group Vice President of Data Excellence, Eniola Benjamin Ade, urged businesses to adapt and strictly follow guidelines associated with artificial intelligence to harness its full benefits.
The Data and Artificial Intelligence Forum brought together industry leaders and experts to explore latest innovations, trends, and advancements in the field. Experts also underscored the need for more businesses to adopt the use of artificial intelligence. In an interview, Group Vice President of Data Excellence, Eniola Benjamin Ade, urged businesses to comply with rules guiding the use of artificial intelligence.
The fact is there are a number of tools out there, and most of these models are developed in the open, so that there is a certain level of transparency. You see exactly what is going into it, what composes it, and there are basically rules and guidelines that govern how those models are supposed to be used and deployed. One of the reasons why we are betting on the Microsoft cloud specifically for this is because they have always been known for their data protection laws. So even when you put your models and your data in the Azure cloud, you are guaranteed that as long as you observe the needed security guidelines, your data should be safe.
Senior Solutions Architect of Cloudware, Kennedy Lekete, added that businesses must protect their assets and data.
The cloud has actually, put in place quite a number of solutions to ensure that, businesses get the best experience in terms of giving their users and their end users a more seamless environment that is AI-driven, and ensure that, with the help of AI, organizations are able to, work smart and and ensure a more seamless and efficient environment. So you can actually integrate AI into these processes, right, while also protecting the data across every layer. So Microsoft Cloud has put in place a quite number of solutions today, across identity, applications, your network, your entire cloud infrastructure or your on-premise infrastructure to help process critical assets and data to ensure that even when AI is integrated, it is even secured.
Reports have shown that 50% of organizations have adopted artificial intelligence in at least one area of business.
And that's how we wrap up tonight. For more business news, you can log on to myjoyonline.com/business. I am Beverly.